This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're just going to do a simple recap and kind of a semi-review of the Masterbuilt Digital Electric 140B smoker. Now, I got to say that I am a big Masterbuilt fan. You can see there's one over there, and you can see that one right there. And this one I've had for quite some time, and it has not treated me wrong. And of course, I have a charcoal Masterbuilt back there, and I had both the Masterbuilt 560 and the 1050, but both of those were found a new home, just like this smoker has found a new home. So I'm going to give this smoker a bath and then send it on its way. And I appreciate the person that bought this smoker, because without them buying the smoker, I can't buy new smokers and keep the channel going. So I'm going to clean this one up, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up a little bit. I won't be wiping down the inside. I just check the top to make sure nothing loose will fall down anybody's food. But what I will do is I will clean out all the trays. I'll wipe down the bottom, clean out this. This one is almost clean right there because I use the foil drip trays. And always, if you don't just take a piece of foil and make a pan out of it, buy yourself some cheap foil pans from the dollar store or wherever you see fit. But put something in your smoker to catch the majority of the mess, and it'll make your life so much easier. And then if you're using the tray for your smoke source rather than using a loader, it also helps diffuse the smoke and keeps the heat from rising straight up into your food. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this smoker. So this is a standard electric smoker, and I'll try to grab a picture and pop it up here of the controls. No frills, no probe. And I don't prefer using an integrated probe anyway. I like to use a separate temperature control module or a separate thermometer to check the temperature that I can place down here and just run the cord in. And when you do run a cord in, run it down to the bottom so you don't create any air gaps or anything. And this seal down here, it won't hurt it at all. And you could even put a little notch in it with a box knife and run the wire through the little notch. But the controls, they don't have a lot going on. So we just have a time setting and a temperature setting. Now, my main issue with this smoker is the time setting. I don't think it's necessary at all. But when you use it, if you think you're going to use it for 12 hours, set the timer for 24 hours. That's my number one mistake that I personally make, is I set the smoker temperature and then I set the time. And when I set the time, I set it for what I'm gonna need to smoke it for. And invariably I run long and the smoker will turn off before I'm ready for it to turn off. So always double whatever you think your cook time is gonna be on there, just to be safe. Now on this smoker, I placed the Takeoff on the top, but that's really not that important here. It kind of funnels the smoke up and you'll be able to see it. There is an adjustment on the top of that to open and close the smoke flow chamber, but I always leave that 100% open. Another thing that I don't think is absolutely necessary, but it is there. And if you want to remove that, and there should be just a simple screw up there, and you should just be able to take that whole thing off and just leave it open 100% all the time. Now, the Takeoff there is just to go straight up. If you were gonna cook like next to your house or something like that, you could add a pipe and extend it all the way up to where it just goes past the edge of your eave. If you see this smoker here, it has a Takeoff on the side and then it goes up, and that keeps the smoke from going in my face when I'm trying to set the controls or come, take a look at it. Not necessary, but it's a nice little touch, and they are not that expensive, and you can just go buy anything right off the shelf at your hardware store, like a register floor duct or whatever. Now, I always add grill mats and use grill mats to any of my smokers, and that just helps so I can move the food in and out easier, and it makes it easier for cleanup. I just throw those right into the dishwasher, and then I have no issues cleaning them. And if they don't come completely clean, I will scrub them up a little bit with a brush. This smoker includes these 4 grill grates, and that gives it a total of 971 square inches of cooking space. If you wanted to add something in there, like you could add those partial grates and get more, I don't really see the reason for that, but let's say you were doing a lot of jerky or smoked salmon, you could put in those two of those things right there, and they would just extend the shelf, and they just sit on these lower shelves. That way it gives you another shelf inside. But again, I don't see the necessity for it. I think this is plenty of cooking space. I normally just use the top two shelves and nothing else. Now it does have a drip pan here, and it's also considered a water pan. So most of your oil will go in there and your water will sit in there. If you place water in there, it will get warm and increase the humidity. I'm going to pull this shelf out here. You can get a good look at one of those shelves. Very standard, and also if you were to damage it and you didn't want to buy a Masterbuilt one, you could buy it from a secondhand supplier and not have a problem. So here is the water tray, and it is currently full of oil and probably a little bit of juices from that last brisket that I cooked in the last video. I will just dump that out in the fire pit and rinse that thing out with hot soapy water, throw it in the dishwasher, and it'll be completely clean. Down here, we have the tray that holds the wood chips. Now, I didn't use that on the last smoke, but normally what I like to do is I like to start with that and hit the food really hard, and then I switch over to the pellet tray because I don't have to maintain it. I can just leave the thing and let it run. Now, that's not, necessary. You can always just put your pellets right in through the tube. Let's go talk about the tube real quick. So you have this tube here, and this is how you load the chips. You fill the tube up and put the chips in there. Now, it does get hot when you're running it, but if you put your hand like this along the side, so I'll go like this, and then when you pour the wood chips, you kind of pour them against your hand, it'll kind of land right in there. You don't want to touch it when it's really hot, because like I said, that's one of the hotter parts of the smoker. If you pull it out and let it sit on a non-burnable or meltable surface, it'll cool off real fast, and then you could load it and put it back in. When I'm running the pellet tray, I normally leave this out or halfway in, so that way it gets good airflow. And I don't know if you can see that, but just hanging out like that. And I'll try to get a couple of pictures of these things and include those up here. Then you insert this and you turn it, and that dumps the wood chips into the smoker. And then you turn it back all the way, and then I just turn it just a little bit to hold it in place. And then that way it can't fall out or anything like that. I doubt that it would fall out, but you pretty much eliminate that possibility. The heating element on this is 1200 watt heating element. Now, it says that it will go up to 275. The settings work that way, but I have not been able to hold it 275 very well. Now, during the summer, I'm sure it will hold at 275 without problem. But at cold nighttime smokes, I wouldn't plan on that. I would plan closer to about 260, 265 as a consistent temperature. Set it 5 degrees above almost everything except for cheese. I would say you want to go just a little above to be safer than sorry, because you want to make sure you get the minimum cook, because you can always rest the stuff a little bit longer if need be, but you can't, magically come up with more cooking time, especially if you're having a party or a gathering of some sort where you need the food to be done by 3 o'clock. Something that you can do if you're not getting the temperature out is you could put a single burner in there, like I use to make homemade smokers. It's just like we call them college burners also. You just put a burner in there and set it on the lowest setting, and again, run the wire down so it comes through the bottom of the door, not through the sides, and drops straight out. And what will happen is that it will come on if the temperature is not keeping up. And you can play with the adjustment just a little bit and get it to right where it's more of an assistant than a main heat source. So that way, if it can't keep up with the 260, this will kick on and give it a little bit extra heat. And you might actually get it up a little bit hotter. I wouldn't go up too high. With the Bradley, I noticed that when it gets a little bit of thermal runaway and gets too hot, the plastic frame will start to crack a little bit, and that's no good. I didn't have that problem here, but it's all metal frame, and you just have the rubber gasket. So I still wouldn't want to overheat that. I'm sure that it's rated for a reasonable temperature, but since the whole thing is only supposed to go to 275, I don't know exactly. I think I've covered everything here that is on my list. The other thing is that there is a overflow drip tray on the back, and this just slides on through 2 clips here, and it will hold in place, and there's a spout there. And let's grab a picture of that and throw that up there so you can see that. And then on either side of it is 2 wheels. So when the smoker has cooled off, you've got a handle right here on the top. You can just lean it back and wheel it away, put it in your garage or wherever you want. These wheels here are adjustable, or wheels, excuse me. These feet here are adjustable, so you can raise and lower it as you want. If you're only looking to buy one smoker, I think that this is probably a best option for you. You're not going to get those high temperatures, so don't plan on grilling or anything like that. But this is a great smoker, and it is super beginner friendly. I would recommend this to anybody who wants a 1 smoker solution. If you're thinking about 2 smokers, like you want something to do your cooler items in, like your salmon and your jerky, and then you want a different smoker that has a higher temperature range, well, now we're talking something different. And I'm really right back with Masterbuilt on the high end with the Gravity Series 1050. And then on the low end, I'm thinking more along the lines of something like the Smoke Chief. Our next series is going to be on the Smoke Chief, so we're going to do a bunch of videos on that and some articles. So thanks for watching. Down below, you're going to see the guide in the first link on how to use this. Second link is going to be the review. Underneath that will be Amazon links. Those are affiliate links, so if you use those, I will get compensated. In those links will be this smoker, and then below that, you'll see different accessories like the cover and the grill mats and the amazing smoke tray. You can use the amazing smoke tray in your gas grill to generate smoke, so that way you can smoke without having a traditional smoker. I'd love you to buy this smoker, but if you don't smoke very often and you just want to add a touch of smoke to your food, that is a great way to do it. I have a 2-rack grill. I just put the chuck roast up on the top shelf, and I put the smoke tray over on one side and turn a light heat underneath it, and it just smokes the chuck roast while it slow cooks it at the same time. I hope you enjoyed this series on the Masterbuilt 140B electric digital smoker. Have a great day.